Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our next reading of Save Me a Seat. This reading is going to focus on the author's message or the author's purpose. So while we're reading these few chapters, I want you to think about why the author wrote this and what message that they're trying to get out to you. So the theme is the author's message in the story, and there can be a lot of different themes in stories, but what the author is trying to convey, the message that the author is trying to convey. In other words, the central idea of the story. So short stories often have just one theme, but novels can have multiple themes. The lesson that you learn through reading the book and how it relates directly to the theme. So as you're reading the book, I want you to think about the theme of the book and then fill out the author's message on slide number 2. You're going to type the theme word in the central cloud and then write 3 supporting details to support the theme that you've chosen. And then on the bottom of that slide, you're going to answer the question, how can you apply this lesson into your own life? How does it fit into your own life? And then slide number 3 goes on to show you my exemplar of the author's message. And then slide number 4 is the interview with the author. So make sure you take a look on that. Okay, here we go. Chapter 29, Ravi. I'm sitting in the living room in my pajamas, drinking a cup of Ovaltine. Quitting is not an option, my father tells me. Your father's right, says Prima. Look how hard he's working in America right now, Ravi. Taking the train up and down every day, always on the phone. Do you see him giving up? Prima picks up his paper and goes out to the living room to read in peace. Prima gets the bottle of red Ayurvedic oil. Ayurvedic oil? I'm not too sure what that is. From the medicine cabinet, and Amma rubs some on my shoulder to relieve the pain. It's obviously a pain topical cream medication. Put this on, she says, handing me the red sweater and matching monkey cap that my other grandmother knitted for me as a parting gift. You need to cover up if you're coming down with a cold. Get back into bed and rest. When you wake up, I'll make you some rasam and rice. I repeat, says Appa, as he straightens the knot in his necktie. Quitting is not an option. My life's a mess. Sleep is the only escape I can think of, so I do as my mother has told me. I put on the sweater and tight monkey cap, which covers not only my head but most of my face, and go back up to my room. I wake up at 1:30 in the afternoon, dripping with sweat. I pull off the sweater and monkey cap and throw them on the floor. My shoulder feels a little better, but my sleep has not been a restful one. Miss Frost's face haunts me in my dreams. Assumptions are often wrong, she kept saying again and again. Where's the monkey cap? Prima asks when I come downstairs. The wind in this country will be the end of all of us. There's no wind inside the house, Prima, and the monkey cap is soaking wet. Amma must have turned the temperature up. It feels like an oven. Are you hungry, Ravi? Hurry and eat your mother's runny rasam, Prima tells me. Then we will get to work. Work on what, Prima? Your mother and I have gone through your backpack, she says. You've been slipping up on your assignments, Ravi. No wonder you wanted to quit. She hands me my agenda book and points to something I'd written on the first day of school. Personal reflection. Bring an object that you feel represents who you are, along with a one-sentence explanation for why you chose this particular object. Please write your sentence on an index card and do not put your name on the card. It's due tomorrow, Ravi, Amma says. Why haven't I seen you working on it? Did you forget? Don't worry, says Prima. While you were sleeping, your mother and I have taken care of it. What do you mean? I ask. We went to Staples and bought all the supplies, Amma says, and I bought you more mechanical pencils too, Raja. I was hoping she wouldn't notice the pencils were missing. I know they disappeared, but I have no idea where they went. Is Raja a pet name like Honey or Sweetie? You're too soft on him, Roshni, sniffs Prima. Losing all his pencils and the napkin from his tiffin box too. If his father had been so careless with his things, I would have made him pay to replace them. But he's not losing his pencils, is he? He's getting them stolen by Dylan. Amma reaches out and takes my hand. Leave your rasam to cool and come see what we've done, she says. The truth is, Mrs. Beam's assignment had totally slipped my mind. Personal reflection. At first, I had thought it would be easy. I hadn't given it a second thought. I knew who I was. But now, after 3 days at Albert Einstein Elementary School, I am no longer the same person I used to be. I am Curryhead, a loser who can't speak English and has no friends. Amma and Prima led me to Appa's office. Spread out on the desk are colored markers, a gold pen, and a silver one, white liquid glue, glitter, glass gems, and all kinds of other shiny stuff. A piece of white chart paper lies in the middle and at the top. In her neatest cursive, my mother has written, Ravi, sharp and shining like the sun. The letters are gold, the borders decorated with glitter and gems as elaborate as a tanjore painting. Under this, they have glued down photographs, each with a shining border of its own. Pictures of me receiving the award for winning the Math Olympiad. Me standing on the podium with a gold medal for running. Me holding my certificate for best outgoing student at Vijayandir. They have even taken one of my medals and stuck it onto the chart with sellotape. I should feel on top of the world, seeing all these reminders of my success, but instead my stomach is churning so badly I think I'm going to be sick. Do you like it, Raja? My mother asks, her eyes twinkling with pride. I'm sorry, Prima, I said, as I let my tears begin to flow. I can't take this to school. You were right. All of Purpa's hard work at the tea plantation was for nothing. I am a complete failure in America. She looks at me, and her face is soft. Don't cry, Ravi. Everything will be okay. Then she pats me on the back and quietly leaves the room. What's wrong, Ravi? My mother asks. You have to tell me. This time I do. When I've finished pouring out my heart to Amma, she puts her arms around me and wipes my tears with her palu, the end of her sari. Don't worry, Raja, Amma says softly. I want to believe my mother, but nothing she has done so far has helped me. Not the non-kates, not the kandrishi, not even her black tongue. Ravi, Prima is standing in the doorway with my grandfather. Your Purpa has something to tell you. My grandfather is wearing a warm sweater and a monkey cap of his own. In his hand, he holds a small tea strainer he's brought from the kitchen. Come, Ravi, he says. I have an idea. So now it's Friday, and we're having pizza in the cafeteria for lunch. Chapter 30. Joe. Do you want to ride to school in the morning? Mom asks. She's dressed and already wearing her apron. There's a flash of lightning followed by a boom of thunder. Sure, I tell her, looking out the window at the dark sky. I'll take a ride. I tip my glass up and drink the last of my strawberry banana smoothie she made for breakfast. No huevos rancheros, just a smoothie and 2 bowls of Cheerios, like normal. Dad comes into the kitchen. There's a piece of tissue stuck to his chin where he cut himself shaving. Did you tell him yet? He asks my mother. Tell him what? I ask nervously. I'm quitting my job, Mom says. You don't have to do that, I tell her, even though I hope it's true. It's a done deal, she says. I already gave my notice. Today will be my last day. Don't we need the money? I ask. I'll find something else, Mom says. To be honest, I'm not crazy about the job anyway. When I suggested to the kitchen staff that maybe we could change up the menu a little, offer some healthier options like quinoa or tofu, they looked at me like I was crazy. I laugh. I'm happy to eat tofu and quinoa, but I'm even happier to eat chicken fingers and hamburgers. If my mother really isn't going to be the lunch monitor anymore, this means lunch can go back to being my favorite subject at school. Lunch is a subject. Woohoo! There's another flash of lightning. Guess we're going to need our raincoats, Mom says. Game 1, 7 o'clock tonight, Dad reminds me. We still on? Are you kidding, I say? Big Poppy is going to bring it home for the Sox. You think I want to miss that? He's referring to the baseball game. When I go upstairs to brush my teeth, I find Mia hiding under the bed. She's afraid of thunderstorms. Don't worry, Mimi, I tell her, reaching under the bed to give her head a pat. Joey, my mother calls, hurry up. The roads are going to be slick, and I don't want to be late. I give Mia one more pat, grab my backpack, and run downstairs. All set? Mom asks, handing me my raincoat. She's got hers on already. One sec, I tell her. I go into the kitchen, open the cupboard, and take out a small glass bowl, like the one my mother had chopped the cilantro in the day before. What's that for? She asks as she watches me shove the bowl into my pocket. It's for an assignment, I tell her. I promise I'll bring it back. What's the assignment? She asks. I'll explain in the car. When I tell my mom what I'm doing for my personal reflection projects, she starts to cry. This time, for a change, it's the happy kind of crying. You are one terrific kid, she says. Do you know that? Believe it or not, I feel like I kind of do. I'm in a pretty good mood by the time we get to school. It doesn't hurt that Friday is pizza day at Einstein, my favorite school lunch of all. As we turn in the driveway, out of nowhere, this dark red minivan comes speeding around the corner and almost cuts us off. Watch out, my mother cries, honking the horn. The driver of the minivan honks back and doesn't even slow down. She just zooms past all the cars, waiting to drop kids off, then cuts in front of the line and parks sideways so nobody can get past. A dark-haired woman in a long blue dress jumps out, holding the biggest umbrella I've ever seen in my life. It's really pouring now. As my mom and I run across the parking lot together, jumping over puddles, the woman in the blue dress hurries around to the other side of the minivan and opens the sliding back door. A minute later, a kid in a funny-looking red hat gets out. He's so small. At first, I think he's in first grade or something, but when he turns around, I see the way he pushes up his glasses with his thumb. I know right away who it is.